I want to speak to the part of you that's exhausted from pretending that it's all okay. The part of you that lights candles, listens to frequency music, says affirmations every morning, but still flinches when your credit card gets declined. Still feels that jolt of shame when you check your bank balance. That knot in your stomach when all the mail you get in your mailbox are bills. And you know somewhere in that pile is something way past due. That part of you that still wonders deep down, why does this keep happening when I've done so much work on myself or when I worked so hard? If that's you, I just want you to know, I see you. Not the Instagram you, not the morning ritual vision board you, the real you. And today I want to show you a different way to relate to money. One that doesn't start with budgets or spreadsheets. One that begins in your soul field, in your DNA, in the energy you inherited. Because here's the truth. If overspending, debt, or feast and famine cycles keep showing up for you, it's not because you're irresponsible. It's not because you need to work harder or fix your mindset. It's because something deeper, spiritually, energetically, vibrationally deeper, is asking to be seen. It's asking to be healed. You can't budget your way out of a soul level money wound. What I'm about to walk you through isn't just theory. It's the process that finally helped me stop carrying chronic debt and allowed money to become a supportive energy in my life again. Hi, my name is Safrina Kadri, and I'm the founder of Feng Shui and Prosper. And many of you know me through my Feng Shui work. Almost 2 decades now, it's been my business. But some of you are starting to realize that I am more than just the Feng Shui lady. In the past few decades, I have spent years and multiple 5 figures, actually almost 6 figures, in certifications, in trainings, in energy healing and other modalities, anything that would help me understand the spiritual metaphysical world out there. But even though my business was doing really well, I can tell you 10 years ago, outwardly, I was making multiple 6 figures, but I had a dirty little secret. I was carrying the same amount of debt that I had, and maybe a little bit more, since my very first credit card that was handed to me when I was a university student. That was when the debt cycle became a dark cloud that looms over my head. And it loomed over my head for many, many years, up until I just had my second daughter. And I thought I could fix it. I thought, oh, my debt will be gone once I make more money. I went from minimum wage to an office job. From that office job, I made 6 figures, but I left that job to build my own 6-figure business. But guess what? The debt stayed. I kept using credit cards to catch up. I'd pay one down and then I'd rack it back up again. I felt like a fraud. Like I couldn't admit how bad it was to anyone, not even to my husband. Until one day, almost 10 years ago, he found out. And it nearly broke us. That was my lowest point. And that was the moment I realized this can't just be about me not being able to manage my money. What else am I missing? What else do I need to fix? And then I realized debt is not just a numbers problem. It's a nervous system pattern. It's a karmic echo It's a multi-dimensional wound. I now know that I wasn't quote unquote bad with money. I was carrying unhealed soul level trauma. I was missing fragments of my soul because of those trauma. I was playing out ancestral scarcity loops. I was living out fears that echoed from my past lives where I was killed because of the money that I had. And the worst part, I had already done so much inner work, the mindset work, the shadow work, the inner child work. I even put myself in debtors anonymous meetings. It all helped, but only to a point. It didn't clear the root. And this is the part that most money mindset programs miss: the healing gap. Emotional tools like emotional freedom technique helps the body, the heart, the mind. Mindset tools help the mind. But your financial patterns are not just it's not just stuck in our physical, emotional, and mental bodies. Our financial patterns and trauma and karma lives in our karmic field, in our DNA code, and soul fragment loss. All those block our healing and keeps us feeling separated from our beingness, from our wholeness, from our prosperity. And if you don't heal that, guess what? The cycle just repeats. When I began to work with unjustified karma, with past life trauma, with ancestral money wounds, clearing debts I'd already paid but kept paying on autopilot, something changed. I didn't just try harder to manage my spending. I still did that. But what changed was I started to feel safe in my body, safe to receive. My mind, my heart, my soul, my DNA felt safe again. And for the first time, I stopped spiraling. Let me show you what we do inside Heal to Receive that's different. Because this isn't a course. This is done for you and done with you healing. Because the way that I work is a little bit out there, a little bit unconventional, I need to explain to you the components, the levels of energy, vibration, and frequency that we are going to be working through during the 8 weeks. These are the tools that I've used and are still using with myself and with my other clients to help them get off the chronic debt hamster wheel. We have all tried books, workshops, working on money mindset, doing law of attraction, visualizing, meditating. We get results, but limited results. Every tool that we put up there would give us some sort of a progress, but after a while we hit a ceiling, right? So limited results despite effort. And when we don't see progress, it doesn't motivate us or encourage us to keep going. And sometimes we're like, okay, forget it. It's not working. We fall back on our old habits. What is truly needed is deeper healing beyond just regular, quote unquote, subconscious reprogramming. And you get the term thrown at you all the time: money mindset, subconscious reprogramming, rewire your brain for money. That's all well and good. But most of them don't work on the inner child healing. And when I talk about inner child, we're not just talking about the current inner child. I work with any inner child wounds that have come up in our past lives or even in our current parallel lives. Most of you probably have heard of past life before, but parallel life healing is just as important. And in the past few months, actually almost close to a couple of years now, the more I've been exposed to parallel life healing, my own, my clients, the more these pieces of the puzzle make sense. So this goes way beyond just regular inner child healing, like I mentioned, because we go multi-dimensional, which is past lives, parallel lives. We also need to stop shadow self sabotage. Now, the shadow self can be greed or shame or guilt or any of those mental or emotional patterns that keep us stuck. And a lot of it are manifest through self-sabotage tendencies. And so as much as you do money mindset work or whatever, if you don't go deep enough to our shadow selves, healing those shadow parts of us and neutralizing it, so that we all have yin and yang, right? We have the light part of us, the darker parts of us. But as long as they're kind of balanced out and one doesn't overtake the other, doesn't take over our lives, that's the space that you want to be in, right? So when our shadow selves come up asking to be healed, asking to be seen, to be acknowledged, and therefore to be stabilized, to be balanced out, that's when our money patterns start to stable out as well. Okay. And this is truly, truly important. The reason why I put this in the phase 1 is feeling safe is key. Feeling safe to receive more, feeling safe to magnetize, feeling safe to ask for more, feeling safe to hold more. You will see that I use that keyword, feeling safe, a lot, not just throughout this presentation, but as I go through the 8 weekly healing calls with whoever decides it's time for them to join me. And when we do this, this is what I call dimensional frequency attunement. Again, dimensional because we're not just working with this life, not just the trauma of the inner child in this life, but also past lives, parallel lives. Okay. And going back to the inner child, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychoanalyst or whatever, but it is pretty common knowledge that a lot of the trauma or perceived trauma that a child experiences up until the age of 7 have very high likelihood of following them throughout their adulthood. And I can tell you, as an energy healer who have worked with many, many, many clients, and even working on my own stuff, realizing the inner child wounds, when they are not healed, you could be 60, 70, 80, you're still going to be emotionally and mentally triggered by what happened before you were 7. And what more to say, your inner child woundings from past lives, from parallel lives, they're even more important to heal. Okay. And many of them have themes. So when you heal it in one lifetime, the healing reverberates through all the timelines, okay, which is what makes it so powerful. It's so exciting. Now, the next stage after that is to work on unjustified karma. Unjustified karma are karmic debt that you no longer or you shouldn't be paying anymore. Now, you see me putting here ancestral karma. Ancestral karma are karmic debt that we have inherited, unfortunately, from our ancestors. And so this work is so important because not only are we going to diffuse the karmic debt for ourselves, but we're also going to be breaking that generational karmic pattern from our children and our children's children. I had a client ask me one time, Safrina, how do you be a generational cycle breaker or pattern breaker? This is how you do it, through ancestral karma healing. And how do you know if you have ancestral karma running through your family? Patterns, if you see themes or patterns running through generations after generations, right? It could be anger management, it could be addiction, it could be mental health, it could be chronic debt, right? Then that's a big red flag that it is very likely a generational situation. Now, the other unjustified karma is karmic debt you've already paid. Now, many of us, if you believe in the idea of past lives and parallel lives, many of us, we have had thousands of past lives, and we currently now have thousands of parallel lives as well. The idea that our soul is not just experiencing physical experiences in this body, in this lifetime, in this timeline, our soul is able to be in omnipresent in many different lifetimes, many different timelines, all at the same time. And whatever they're experiencing affects us there, quote unquote, because they are us. And whatever we're experiencing affects them as well. So it goes both ways. So, and having said that, after all these hundreds and thousands of lifetimes, some of the karmic debt we have likely paid off. But because it's been a pattern that's been with us for so long, that we've lived out for so many different lifetimes, that it becomes second nature, it becomes familiar. It becomes a pattern that seems to be natural. And yet, it's a karmic debt that's already paid. We just keep paying it, unknowing that the debt is already paid. That becomes unjustified karma. Okay. And so as we go through the 8 weeks, we recalibrate these kinds of karma, right? The unjustified karma into harmonic alignment so that we can start receiving again. And the recalibrating just means, first off, is to realize that, hey, I don't need to pay this debt anymore. Bless it, release it. And with that acknowledgement, things just balance out, right? Side note, there is one karma that no one can clear except for you. You clear your karma when you learn your spiritual lesson through it. That's how you balance the karma. That's how you pay off the karmic debt. But if there is a karmic cycle that you're supposed to pay off in this lifetime, those kinds of, that group of karma, I can't clear for you. It is up to you to still walk that karma in order to dissolve it. That one is your journey. Okay, just being very clear how things work. So in that level, we heal the energetic echo of unjustified karma. We heal the inherited karma that you didn't realize you've been paying. And we stop manifesting with mixed signals, because that's part of the reason why law of attraction and visualization doesn't work, because we're sending out mixed signals. We consciously visualize financial wealth, but subconsciously, on a soul level, on a DNA level, we are saying, no, we still have money issues. It's not safe for me to receive. My family, we're bad money managers. So that's just how I am. That's just part of my identity. So you can see we're sending out mixed signals to the universe. And this is what I call karmic loop liberation. This is really, really important. And it's not as tough as, some people. We are all born with free will. Even though we have karma, we are not stuck to the karma. So if it's a karma that you need to walk through, you just need to learn your lesson, and that's how you pay off that debt, right? And if you have an unjustified karma, tuning in to the right energy, vibration, and frequency, that's how you release it. Okay. So then you can stop trying to manifest by while sending out mixed signals. We can stop doing that now. Okay. And the third phase is we look at unhealed trauma and distorted DNA. So in the first level, we talked about the inner child healing, right? Inner child trauma. Unhealed trauma can be adulthood trauma. And again, we look at current life, past life, and parallel lives. And all these traumas, they can also distort our DNA. Okay. Either multidimensional or ancestral. DNA healing, again, is a term that is starting to get thrown out there a lot. Admittedly, this is kind of like the last frontier that I've been doing my healing levels on. But the last time I did a DNA healing for myself and for my VIP client groups, I got really amazing feedback. And again, regular money mindset cannot touch the past life parallel life stuff. It can't touch unjustified karma. It can't touch DNA, which is why doing the phone apps, the budget apps, or the spreadsheet, or even charting down all, tracking all your spending doesn't work unless and until we clear all these three layers. So, in the unhealed trauma and distorted DNA, we look at healing from not being safe to receive, to be seen, to have boundaries, or to want more. Okay, we rebalance these distortions. We rebalance the trauma and heal the soul fragments. What are soul fragments? Big trauma usually is so traumatic that parts of our soul actually breaks off. I know this is a very simplistic explanation of it, but I'm just going to stick with it because we're not going to go into a huge, seminar around it. But just imagine parts of our soul fragments off because of the trauma. If it happens multiple times, hundreds of times, thousands of times, this is where, in my opinion, we start seeing mental health struggles, especially bipolarism, schizophrenia, and all that. Again, I am not a mental health practitioner, but this is just my own observation as an energy healer practitioner who have been working with clients the past few years. Okay, I'm starting to see themes. And so when we heal these soul fragments, we start feeling more whole. We start feeling stronger in our identity. And that is so important to be a good manifester, and especially when it comes to money. And as we go through our sessions, I'm also going to be immersing you guys with galactic healing and frequencies. There's so many versions of frequencies. Honestly, even color has a frequency. That's what I got from one of my Akashic record readings, which I am still exploring on my own. But frequencies, the more mainstream one are like music, right? But you have to be really careful with what kind of frequency music you're listening to. I remember many years ago, I was listening to a frequency music on YouTube on Green Tara, which is a Buddhist goddess. However, the more I listened to it, the more I felt low and down and actually mildly depressed. And I thought something was off. And I remember mentioning to my husband, I was like, oh, I've been listening to this meditation music and it's just gotten me really sad and really depressed. And he's like, then why are you still listening to it? Very simple solution. I don't know why it escaped me at that time. I just kept listening to it thinking, oh, this is a Green Tara meditation. It must be good. Because these frequency music that you get on YouTube, you don't know where the creator is coming from. Are they really fully with good intentions? So the frequencies that I use are clean, are light filled, high vibration, high frequency. And I always get really good results, really. And even myself, I can sense the difference when you tune in or listen or immersed in the right galactic frequency. Brings you back to your, so when we do that, it brings you back to your original soul code. So you get more clarity on your purpose, your gifts, your soul mission, your soul evolution. And this is what I call sacred flow recalibration. Now, I know in this video presentation, we focused on money. But if you really take a step back and you look at this screen here, could you see that if your dimensional frequencies are attuned and you're liberated from karmic loops, and you also have your flow is also recalibrated, can you also see how that can also help you with your relationships, with your health? Yes. So even though we're focusing on these spiritual technologies to help us with getting out of that chronic debt hamster wheel, the trickle down effect, the bonus healing can also positively impact other parts, other areas of our lives. Now, what happens once we do all that? We have 3 measures of success. The first measure of success is increased receiving. we increase our container to receive, our capacity to receive, not just money, but also love, support, and visibility. And we start to be in flow. I get this feedback from my clients all the time. Oh my gosh, Safrina, the peace and serenity that I am feeling, even though life throws a curveball, or I had a crappy day at work or whatever, I was still able to just shake it off and still be able to and not have it stick to me as I go to sleep. That inner peace and serenity doesn't just feel good in the moment, it also means you are less a slave to the low vibration, low frequency, emotional and mental patterns that also reduce your power as a manifester. Okay. Um, so feeling in flow, you're going to start getting synchronicities, opportunities, and life stops feeling like a resistance all the time. Doesn't that sound good? Now, emotional sovereignty. You will feel less triggered, more emotionally grounded, no fear of rejection or lack. So we measure success not just by what you receive, but by how safe, again, that's the key word, supported and sovereign you feel receiving it. Emotional sovereignty is really important. You have a control. You are back in control of your thoughts and your feelings. And again, that puts you in the driver's seat when it comes to manifesting what you desire. Now, what is in Healed to Receive? It is an 8-week container. And every week we have a Zoom call with me, lasts about 2 hours or so. And we will do healing and activations on these calls. My clients book single sessions for $388 per session. So in this group healing, you will have a hybrid session that kind of looks like this here, okay? Where there is a hot seat, but actually, while I'm working on one person, okay, everyone else that is there, live or on replay, as long as you are present, and I'm tapping into the group's field, I'll be able to help you heal as well. And so that's the beauty of the group healing, because you no longer feel alone with your patterns. When you witness others go through their own similar money stories, their own similar money wounds, it also helps you dissolve your shame, helps you build resonance, and creates deep nervous system safety. And again, I love group healing so, so much, because you also heal more than just your own timeline. You're opening healing pathways, not just for your own soul memory to clear, but you're also clearing across lineages. And this is how unsupportive generational patterns can be broken. And with these group healings, we're tapping into the morphogenetic field. If you guys are familiar with the works of Rupert Sheldrake, or other wisdoms would call it oneness or unity or the field, right? The morphogenetic field just means it is a field that we are all tapped into. We are all affecting one another. For those of you who are familiar with Ho'oponopono, this is a similar perspective, right? That we are all connected. Therefore, when one person releases during the hot seat, everyone benefits from it. You're not just healing in isolation, you're bathing in a frequency designed for collective release and upgrade. And when you receive energetic upgrades, you can do that even without speaking, or even without attending live. Now, my only ask is, if you watch the replay, you need to be present as well. If you're being live on the calls with me in the group, you need to be present too. No looking at your phone, no 50 tabs on the computer to distract you. Be present. And so even if you never unmute, or you're only able to watch the replays, as long as you play full out, you ensure that you are present, the frequency and the field work will still shift you emotionally, mentally, through down to a DNA level, right? Subconscious repatterning, all that can still happen. And in these sessions, you are held, you're seen, you are supported without needing to perform. There's no pressure to show up perfectly, to answer perfectly. You are allowed to surface and share all the crappiest, shadowiest parts of you with no judgment. You are received exactly as you are, which is whole and complete. We're just bringing you back to that essence of all of us being whole and complete. And healing happens even in stillness. And actually, healing happens especially in stillness. You will witness breakthroughs in others and even breakthroughs in yourself that you didn't know you needed. Sometimes another person's session unlocks a blind spot or a buried memory that's been quietly directing your financial behaviors. Now, remember, many of us have had hundreds, if not thousands, of past lives, and we currently have thousands of parallel lives. So, even if the person on the hot seat has a situation that in this 3D reality maybe has no linkage to you, but again, if you just allow yourself to be present and tapped into the morphogenetic field, which I will teach you how to do, um, you most of us will tend to have past or parallel lives that would have memories similar to that or experiences similar to what the hot seat person is going through. So again, we all heal as a collective. You're also safely guided inside a sealed energetic container so that you are protected and facilitated with multi-dimensional integrity. This is really key because unfortunately I've had clients and students come to me after they've participated in other group healing circles, and they tell me they started feeling off. They started feeling like, again, mildly depressed and tired and just off. And unfortunately, I've been getting one specific mainstream energy healing teacher with these kinds of results. When it is in a group, you want to make sure everyone is energetically protected so that one, there's no energy vampirism. Some people tend to want to be a little bit naughty. They try to harvest other people's energy or other people's healing. That happens. That's part of the energy world or spiritual world, which is unfortunate, but it happens. And some energy healer experts or gurus out there actually actively do it. So you have to be really careful who you trust. And once you start working and healing through your inner child, your shadow self, your unjustified karma, your ancestral trauma, all those levels, you begin to trust your own intuition again. The group field activates remembrance. So your own soul wisdom starts coming online more clearly and more consistently. Now, you're probably going to say, Safrina, you're promising a lot in 8 weeks, in 8 weekly calls. Yes, I know. But this is where quantum healing happens. I'm not saying that we heal anything and everything in 8 weeks, but what is the most highest priority that your higher self will know, that your soul self will know, will come up to the surface. And what's asking to be acknowledged, that's what we will work on. And so, and quantum healing also tells us that even if it is a karmic pattern or a trauma that's been with us for many, many lifetimes, many, many timelines, it doesn't mean the healing takes that long as well. Sometimes the healing can be instant. Sometimes the healing, the peeling back of the layers of the onion, the healing onion, sometimes it can take weeks. But what I can guarantee you are stumbling blocks that used to be there for years and years and years that you couldn't get rid of on your own. I have seen in myself, in my clients, even in my family, my loved ones, things that have plagued them for years do start releasing and falling away in a matter of weeks. And so that's why I love high dimensional healing and quantum healing so much. So 8 weekly group healing calls. You're going to receive healing down to the DNA level throughout all your 15 chakras, not just the 7 chakras. You don't need to be a master meditator or visualizer for this to work because I do the work for you. You just need to show up, be present, and breathe. And I will heal for you and with you. Okay. You can heal from your unjustified trauma so that it will release itself from your heart, your mind, your body, your soul once and for all. We're looking at real transformation and healing, not merely nice to know information. You're also going to get downloadable shadow spending and radiant wealth journals. These are my brand new products. These are downloadable guided journaling companion to help you excavate and rewire your financial triggers. And you can do this weekly. So the result with working with these journals, you stop fighting and you stop fighting your spending impulses and just start understanding them. You stop forcing financial discipline and just start flowing with inner wisdom. You stop managing money from fear and start creating with love. These weekly journaling prompts will help you continue your healing journey beyond our 8 weeks together. So that's part of the reason why I included it in here. You're also going to get 1 year access to Manifesting Code. Manifesting Code is a membership that I started back in 2017. I sunsetted it. I closed the membership, but due to popular requests, I reopened it just recently. And in there, you get energy healing tools. You learn basics of Akashic record reading, tons of guided meditation, which is what my students and my clients love, moon rituals, astrology, Feng Shui, and more. It's all integrated for maximum impact. So this is a complete holistic system all in one place. So you can stop piecing together scattered techniques. And this is where you can fully step into addressing heaven luck, earth luck, and mankind luck holistically. And again, I added this in there so that after our 8 weeks is done, you still have tools that you can fall back on. For these ones, you can actually learn and integrate into your daily lives. Okay. I have this, so in the group format, okay, the group experience, which you can join for $388. If you are the first 10 to register for it, I do have a disappearing bonus. The first 10 to register in the group experiences will get free personal auric clearing session for me. And this one, people have had to register themselves for $288. So you get the free auric clearing session for free if you're the first 10 to get the group experience. The personal auric clearing is a high dimensional clearing session that I've done for actually close to 2 years now. These auric clearing sessions, it can help you to go from feeling uninspired, unfulfilled, or unmotivated to being inspired to go on a journey of self-discovery, self-awareness, and self-expression. It can take you from feeling stuck in a loop of worry, fear, grief, or anxiety to having a greater sense of inner peace, balance, and resilience. It can take you from frustrated at lack of success to get you to start exploring your authentic self, release limiting beliefs, and cultivate a deeper sense of self-love and self-acceptance. So that's what the first 10 people are going to get if you register. Now, what if you want to go even deeper? Then you can upgrade to VIP, which is $1,000. For this one, this package, you'll get one-on-one guidance, private sessions with me, 4 sessions of 30 minutes each, which is a value of $1,552. As I mentioned before, I've had clients book private sessions for $388. So these private calls would be in addition to the group calls. So it'll be one-on-one and we'll work on anything that comes up for you, either past life trauma, unjustified karmic loops, or multi-dimensional soul fragments. And I have disappearing bonuses for this as well. So the first 10 to register for the VIP package, you would get a free month of group high dimensional clearing from me, which is $1,000. 3 month is 4 weekly sessions. And these ones, you don't have to be on the call. These high dimensional clearing is fully done for you. And I do have different themes, which is very similar to the themes that we have here. They're just different energy healing modalities that I use. So we're still working on themes of unjustified karma, which is the next one after this session. You're also going to get the personal auric clearing session that I just went through here. Okay, you're also going to get that one. The regular price is $288, and a home auric clearing session. The home auric clearing session is really great if your home has gone through a traumatic period or event in the house, like a divorce, death, health challenge, financial struggles. If you have younger children or you have pets that act weird in certain areas of the house, You might have entities or poltergeists or whatever in a specific part of your house. Sometimes it's dark, sometimes it's musty for no reason at all, like there are smells, or moldy. Something's happening in that area. Okay. Um, if you moved into your new home, but you somehow haven't felt settled in, you're trying to sell your home, but for some reason it can't sell, you're sensitive to energy and you know something's off, or there's a lot of nightmares or night terrors in the house, especially with kids. If you're hearing floor creaking, doors opening, or light flickering, and there's no one else in the house, you might have poltergeists. If there is an occupant with a mental health challenge, it is very important to get these clearings done as well, so that negative entities in the house don't get attached to their personal aura. So that session is 188. So if you are the first 10 to register for the VIP package, you're going to get the group experience, 4 private sessions with me, the group high dimensional clearing, the personal auric clearing for your body, and the home auric clearing, that's for the house. That's an additional value. These ones here are an additional value for $1476 that you can get for $8,000. Okay. Even if you only use just a tiny fraction of what we covered today, don't you feel like you now understand why conventional advice on paying down debt is missing a big piece of the puzzle? I'm not saying they don't work. I still do it. I use the apps, I use the spreadsheet, I use cash as much as I can. What's called cash stuffing or cash envelopes. That's what I use. So I'm not saying that they don't work, but they just don't go deep enough for those of us with layers of energy, vibration, and frequency that needs to be reshifted. And once those layers of energy, vibration, and frequency gets worked through, gets realigned, this is what makes it last. And this is when the surface level money management finally sticks. And this is why my clients don't just feel better temporarily, they become different. They stop hiding from money. They stop playing small. They stop blaming themselves for patterns that were their ancestors. It wasn't theirs. And they start receiving with peace, with power, with joy. So if you've been nodding along with me, if your heart's been whispering, this is what we've been waiting for, then I'd love to invite you into Healed to Receive. We begin on June 20th on the summer solstice, and we will work past Lion's Gate, which is August 8th. Both periods are powerful portals to healing and manifesting, a perfect time to reset your field. I've invested more than a decade and almost 6 figures in getting myself trained in numerous healing modalities so I can keep supporting myself, my loved ones, and my clients. And I keep seeing women around me struggle and feeling like they're drowning in debt. And it makes me feel bad and sad because I've been there. And many of them share with me that they've been struggling for years, some almost their whole adulthood, like me. My high dimensional clients pay me $5,000 for 6 months of group healing. My VIP clients pay me $8,000 for private healing and manifesting sessions. My fertility clients pay me from $12,000 to $18,000 to work directly with me. This series of weekly group healing calls allows me to support more people who have tried unconventional ways of curbing spending and debt, but not getting far on their own. And they're ready to reach out to the lifeline that I'm throwing out for you right now. And truly, I wish this is something that was offered to me when I was struggling 15, 20 years ago. And we begin June 20th. And this isn't just a date on the calendar, it's a portal. The summer solstice, June 20th, is a time of illumination. It's a time when the earth holds more light than any other day of the year. And that's what I want for you, to bring light to the shadows you've carried, to bring safety to the parts of you that feel like you've always messed up with money, to bring power back to the place that have been stuck in survival mode. Because the truth is, avoidance has a price. So does delay. Every month that goes by without healing this is a month your nervous system just keeps bracing. A month your soul keeps waiting to breathe. A month your abundance stays at arm's length. And if you made it this far with me today, I have a feeling that you are ready for the work, ready to break the cycle, ready to stop carrying what your ancestors couldn't, ready to receive and ready to maintain. Join us now, Heal to Receive, with a button below. And I hope I see you inside. Let's walk this next portal together.